Hey guys, this video is all about bronzer, some of my favorite bronzing products and how I apply them. Just like my everyday steps for that, I guess. If you want a really authentic looking tan and you don't want to go out in the sun and fry your skin, take years off your life and add years onto your appearance by frying and baking in the sun, you can, you know, use a little bronzer. Now usually what I do is I always have sunscreen on, but I usually end up with some color by the end of the summer naturally, even though I don't lay out and try to tan on purpose. I do self tan as well, and I use bronzer on my face, so I do kind of a little bit of like a natural tan and fake, like half and half together. It seems to work out pretty well for me. The most important thing for me is for it to obviously look like authentic. You don't want to look like an Oompa Loompa, so you want believable color. And I think that's why a lot of people are afraid of bronzers, or maybe have had like bad experiences. Believable color and finish. I'm not a huge fan of shimmery blush. I really like more matte, or not a fan of shimmery bronzer. I like shimmery blush. Whoa, it's like torrential downpour outside. But anyways, I'm going to show you some of my favorite bronzers, kind of the cool things about them, and why they work and why I like them. The first one is a drugstore bronzer. This is the Bronze Booster from Physicians Formula, and it looks like a flying saucer. It's pretty sketchy packaging, but it comes with this little brush, which I don't really ever use. They're so narrow that they kind of give you streaks sometimes. But anyways, it comes, you know, it's a pretty sturdy, like compact for a drugstore bronzer. And the color, this is actually the dark color. It's really not that dark. It matches my skin really well. So, you know, this is medium to dark actually. So if you have super fair skin, the light one I'm sure would work for you because it's probably way lighter than this. But the thing that I like best about this is it has a very believable color to it. It's like just kind of like a tawny color. And I'm gonna need a tissue for this video. The thing that's really cool about this is so streak free. It's not even funny. If you have problems with blotchy bronzer or streaky bronzer, I would maybe suggest this. I have actually applied moisturizer and not let it sink in, like applied moisturizer to my face and then applied this and nothing else right afterwards, and it still hasn't. You know, having like moisturizer on your face, like dark powder like this would really cling to it, but it still doesn't streak. So this is really good if you have blending issues. It's a good option. The next one is the Bare Minerals Faux Tan. I've talked about this before. I really recommend this for a wide variety of skin tones. Obviously, if your skin is darker than the actual faux tan itself, then it might not work for you. But this does work for a lot of people. And surprisingly enough, I'm going to show you, I mean, it comes in one of these little like mineral containers. But surprisingly enough, you can see how dark it is. I would recommend this for fair-skinned, as fair as they come. Fair all the way up until the actual color of the actual bronzer. So, but this is a very dark one. So this is the Bare Minerals Faux Tan Matte. The shimmer one's great too, but again, you know, I just like my matte. The shimmer faux tan is very subtle shimmer. It's not anything scary, but this I like better. And honestly, this would be enough for like 4 applications, what I have in the cap right now. So you really don't need a lot of this at all. And I know the color looks like, it's almost the color of like clay from a riverbed. Very warm and rich. The thing about this is, as dark as it is the most perfect natural looking color. It's not described by Bare Minerals as an actual bronzer. They actually describe it as a complexion enhancer, but for all intents and purposes, it's pretty much bronzer. But you can use it as more of a complexion enhancer, where if you use a very light hand with it and don't apply a lot of the products, you can get a nice warmth to your skin. You just literally look like you've spent a month on a tropical island or something. It's amazing. So, and for people who don't tan, this would be a really great option. I've seen this for so many years. I can't even tell you how many of these I've gone through. It's just so versatile, and usually I do switch to this in the summer because my normal everyday bronzers will become a little light for me. Anyways, that one's really good. The next one, which is the one I mentioned that I'll probably, that'll probably get a little light for me in the summer, but I just started using this a few months ago and I absolutely love it. And that's the Mercier. You guys, I've used this in a bunch of tutorials. I can't talk today. This is the Mercier Dune Bronze. Oh, there we go. I always do that. I always blind you with my mirrors and my compacts. Mercier Dune Bronze bronzing powder. It's a little bit softer than the Bronze Booster from this is Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. This is Laura Mercier. And I guess I'll swatch faux tan for you. The only thing about the Bare Minerals stuff, it's kind of why I got out of that phase in my life, is because the Bare Minerals products are so messy. This one isn't really that messy because you don't use it as much of it as the actual foundation. And this is the faux tan. So you can see, I mean, that's like some serious bronzing. And it's a natural color though. My hand's a little bit lighter, but it really does look like the skin on the rest of my body. It has like a reddish tint to it. You know, when you are naturally out in the sun, most people will get a little bit of that flush to their skin from the sun and the heat. So your tan's not going to be one flat color. It's going to have a little bit of a redness to it in certain spots because you're out in the sun. You know, it has an effect on your skin. So those are the three that I showed you. Faux Tan Bronze Booster by Physicians Formula and Laura Mercier Dune Bronze. So those are my favorite. I mean, I have a few other like powder compact bronzers. Those are my favorite ones, the ones I would really recommend you guys if you're in the market for a new bronzer. If you're having a really hard time finding a bronze shade that you really like, you might want to try going for a darker powder foundation. It doesn't have shimmer in it, which is going to be a benefit if you prefer a matte bronzer. You'll get that effect with a darker powder foundation. Yeah, if you are into shimmer bronzers though, a really cool thing you can do, say this one's a good one, Smashbox Fusion Soft Lights. You can take one like this that has more of a shimmer in it and just wet it, and you can actually use that on your eyes. So you can use this all over your face as your bronzer and everything, and then use the actual on your eyelids as an eyeshadow. You know, you want to be careful. You don't want to get the entire compact wet. Maybe just wet your eyeshadow brush and then mix it in with your bronzer a little bit and then apply it to your eyelids, so you get kind of an all over coordinated bronze look. Give you a really pretty, like, glamorous kind of look, which I think is really nice. Obviously, if you're gonna wear a bronzer on your lids, you want to make sure you test it out first because they're not made for your eyes. So I know some people do have reactions. I've never had a reaction like that. Gotta be careful with these things. Okay. So yeah, there's so many different things. You know, you think outside the box. Like, that's one product, and you'll get like an all over face beautiful bronze goddess look that way. So anyway, so regular powder bronzer, I'm going to show you how I apply that. This is my Laura Mercier powder bronzer, Dune Bronze, and I'm going to get a little bit on my paddle brush from Coastal Scents, and I already have a little bit on, but this is a really, you know, it's really hard to overdo it with this, so I'm going to try not to overdo it with this. It's more about like applying the color to the outside of your face, like around the edges. But I don't start there because I find if I start there, I have very light hair, especially in the summer when I'd be more prone to, you know, when I'd be more likely to apply bronzer. My hair around my hairline will get really, really light, like baby white. So I actually start in the center of my face, which a lot of people don't do. They start close to your hairline with any kind of face color. But I actually start in the center of my face and I dot it in 4 spots. I dot it on my cheek, and if you want to find that place, you can use like the 2-finger technique, and on the other side of your 2 fingers is where you want to start, or you can just see that it's directly, usually parallel from the bottom of your nose. So you draw a straight line out from the bottom of your nose, and that's kind of where you want to start. So I kind of dot it here, and then go into my forehead, dot it there. You can hold your brush vertically or like kind of diagonally, color to those key points, and then I just blend the points together like that. And a lot of people call this the 3-shape technique. And continuing to go down to your jawline too. And I also apply a little bit to my chin. And then whatever's left, I apply it to the middle and end of my nose, so like halfway down, and then just kind of blend it. And so you can see how it starts in the center, but then it goes back and it blends out into the hairline. You want to make sure you really get the outer all around the outside of your face. I think a gorgeous pop of color in your cheeks goes so well with kind of like a sun-kissed look. I tend to reach for like tropical pinks. So like this one by Illamasqua. This blush by Illamasqua is really great. To be honest, the name of it has rubbed off on the back, so I'll make sure to add a little annotation down here when I look up the color. But it's just gorgeous, like, yeah, really, really bright pink. And then another one that's really good for this is my Laura Mercier Second Skin Cheek color in Lotus Pink, which I think is packed in my to-go, like my travel bag right now. But so I'll just use this one to show you guys how I use it. Like now peach colors, those kinds of colors look really great over bronzer too, obviously, but if you're going for a really bright pop of color. I would recommend keeping it as like close to the apple of your cheek as possible. So you really just want a little bit of a burst of color right here. I'm blending that out with a little blender brush from CVS. Something about that looks really natural to me. I think, like I said, if you're naturally going to be in the sun, you're going to have some other tones going on. You're going to have that natural flush to your cheek. So I think adding a pop of like flamingo pink blush on the apples of your cheeks looks actually more natural than if you just leave your bronzer by itself. Of course, peach toned colors look gorgeous over bronzer too, so you can kind of apply that all over because it blends a little bit better. But of course you can do whatever you want. These are just my suggestions, kind of what I do and how I think about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, of course. I hope you guys picked up some helpful hints and maybe some good product recommendations. Like I said, they work for me. So I wanted to make this video to show you guys too. And thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.